I'm here, and I'm so sorry. I got distracted watching videos on Facebook, so give me 1 second to get comfortable, and I will be right there. All right, comfortable, sort of. I cannot believe I did that. I have never been distracted to where I've forgotten. Well, I think I did like years and years ago, but let's adjust this because you don't want to see like the ceiling. Let me try to adjust a little bit more. That's better. Okay, so I'm here. Hopefully, you're here, and we will work with what we got. Okay, because I totally forgot. I washed my hair and then I got distracted. My alarm was set, and then I forgot. And because I turned off my alarm instead of hitting the snooze button because my alarm was set for 5:30, and I instead of putting on the the snooze button, I ended up clicking stop. So that's always fun to be 8 minutes or 10 minutes late, but that's okay. I'm here. I'm here. You're here. Yay. So now I can relax and read with you guys. Uh, hopefully, you guys weren't bored waiting for me. I'm surprised that nobody messaged me on Instagram or something saying, "Where are you?" Well, maybe somebody did, and I just didn't notice.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
I'm going to have to do
Sorry, video I was watching. Nope, no Instagram messages. So I was the only one that was completely lost. So, yay. I'm glad you're here reading the Catherine of Aragon bio for an hour. Happy to be here, though. Awesome. Awesome. I don't know why I'm getting pop ups all of a sudden for weird games. I'm like, I don't play that game. Why am I getting a pop up? All right. Gonna grab some coconut buns and be back. That sounds amazing. I'm not a huge coconut fan, but I will try anything. Hi, B. I'd like to tell you that I will be driving now, but I will listen to you when I get home. I will prepare my book. Greetings to everyone on the channel and sending you warm greetings, B. Thank you, B. So hopefully you'll be home. Drive safely. Don't drive quickly on your way home. Hi, Kelly. Hello, Hannah. Yes, it's only me that's completely lost. Says, you're so funny. David says, we need you to be here at your own party. Yes, the late to her own party. Yes, that's me. But I'm here and I can finally relax. We also ate out for dinner, so like I kind of like I remembered I had to be back in time, but then I got distracted. So lots of good things happening too, which I probably won't share right now, but lots of good things happening going on about the trip I'm taking next summer. So God's opening doors. So yay. Mom says reading a book 2 in the Cape Cod Creamery series, The Secret to Happiness by Suzanne Woods Fisher. Awesome. Awesome. So let me know what you are reading, what you're doing tonight while you're hanging out with me this Friday evening. I have a few books going on right now. I have an audiobook, which I probably won't do right now. I'm not in an audio mood today. Actually, for the past couple days, I really haven't been wanting to watch or listen to audiobooks. So I have my new Kindle case. It's got cute little black kitties for fall. I don't really have a fall case, really. So black kitties was the closest. I kind of want to take some Posca paint pens or something and like paint little balls of yarn or something on the kitties. I think that would be cute. But I am reading an ARC copy that I got last year, and I haven't gotten to it yet, unfortunately, but I'm slowly catching up in ARC books. So it's already out, so it's not an ARC anymore. But I'm reading His Perfect Match by Andrea Boyd, and I should finish this during this first sprint because I literally have about 20% left to read, and that should be only about 30 pages, I'm guessing. So this will be done. And I'm really excited that I will have His Perfect Match done. It's pretty good so far. So it's about this man who's who's an influencer, online influencer, and he's like he wants to get married and he's ready. So he kind of like jumps the gun and creates this post on his socials saying, "Hey, I'm single and I'm gonna do this contest where like I'm gonna like send in a postcard by this date with like why you want to go out on a date with me for Valentine's Day, and my mother is gonna be the one to pick the girl for me because he trusts his mom's opinion." And so he goes and does that. But then he ends up meeting a girl like the day after or 2 days after that contest starts. And he realizes he made a huge mistake doing that because now he really likes this woman that he just met. And so I'm intrigued to see where it goes. I'm almost done with it, as I said. So I'm excited. And I'm not sure if it's on Kindle Unlimited or not. It could be. I'm not sure. But that's what I'm going to be reading. I'm also reading, which does not have a cover right then, but I'm also reading one called Congo Crisis by Chrisanne Dawson, which my physical copy is in the dining room. I didn't have a chance to get it yet, but I will if I have time to read that after my ebook. So that is the plan for tonight. I'm going to do at least 2 hours of sprints. So that'll be nice. I think my StreamYard did transition over to new hours for the month. It should have. That's what they said they were going to do. So let's find out. I can always think it did though. Yeah, because it doesn't say anything about you're short on your free hours. So we're good to go. Okay. Perfect timing because we had to do these sprints today. So yay. All right, let me go back into the comments now that you know what I'm reading today. Let's see. Mary Beth is reading The Gold Digger by Lisa Tolsma. Ooh, I love that title. Hannah says reading an Australian historical fiction set at the beginning of World War II from Billabong to London by Mary Grant Bruce. That sounds good. That sounds really good, actually. I might have to check that out. That sounds really good. And Hannah says I might shift to writing in later sprints, but for now I'm trying to catch some sun while the clouds allow it. Sounds like a plan. Relax a little bit and then write after. Yeah, so I'm not doing any writing right now as I'm kind of waiting for at least 1 or 2 more beta readers to kind of give me feedback before I go into edits. But I will be starting book 2 of my series, start writing that in November because I'm pre-filming a ton of videos starting next week. So I will be busy probably for the next 3 weeks doing that. So I'm going to need a break after all those videos. And I think writing will be motivating after this month. Hi, Kim. Seeing if I can get some reading done. It's been very stressful last 2 weeks. Oh, I think you read 1 page. That's how the past week or 2 has been. I have not been getting much reading done, which is so rare for me. But I think it's because like this is my time for pre-filming a lot of videos for you guys. So like my brain is just like all over the place and I can't calm it down enough to relax and read all the time. And so reading's kind of been going a bit slower than usual, but I'm still reading. It's just I haven't finished a book in quite a while. So we gotta change that, but at least I'm still reading. It's just slow going. And that's okay, just to relax and if you can't read, it's okay. Kelly's reading my chapter for the day from Gone with the Wind. Nice. Then we'll see what else I have time for. Yeah, I'm sure those chapters are quite the long haul there. But good job reading a chapter each day for Gone with the Wind. That's fantastic. I always make a plan to read that way, especially if I'm reading like a nonfiction or a classic. I'm like, I'm going to read 1 chapter a day so I can get through this, chunker or a book that's like intimidating to me. Do I do that? No, it never works out that way. I usually either binge read it or I just give up on it. So I do have 1 book that I want to get to, and I promised myself I would read a chapter a day. I've not done that, so I probably should do that as well today. I can show you what book it is. It was a book one of my author friends sent me, and it's actually really good to read right now. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it or not, but it is. Forgot what Kindle am I using? I was gonna say, is it my old one or my new one? Um, but it's called A Writer's Life, I think, or Creating a Writing Life. And so I really wanted to read it because I am in a writing life. And it's by Jill Kammerer, and it is out now. But yes, it's called, waiting for the screensaver, there we go, Creating a Writing Life by Jill Kammerer. And I have been enjoying it. I was reading a chapter a day for a day or two. And then I think this was like right before I went on my trip a couple weeks ago. So I do need to continue this. And I like what she said. Like, one of the first things was, um, if you are planning on doing this, like as your livelihood or as your, life career as writing, she says, when you go on vacations, do not write on vacations. Vacation is a vacation, because I was planning on taking my keyboard with me on our family vacation next year, and I was going to write a little bit, but then, like, it's true. It's like, if you do write, especially if you do write every single day and you make it your career, you really don't want to bring your career on your vacation, Like, I kind of do, as far as like my YouTube channel goes, because I bring books with me, and some of them do end up being review books. But sometimes, you just gotta break away and relax. That's why I'm bringing some art supplies with me on our next trip, because that way I can spend some time painting and relaxing, because that's not work. Kelly's not always successful with it, yeah. But breaking it down helps, if not be so overwhelming. Yes, that's true. It is, especially if it's a big book like that. For sure, that would help a great deal. And I just realized I am on the wrong book now that I put Jill Kammerer's book on my Kindle. By the way, if you were wondering, because I know my friend Teresa, who, by the way, if you don't know her, her channel is Creatively Faithful. Please keep her in your prayers. I'll keep it private for her sake, but she does need prayers right now. So just keep her in your prayers. But what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, so maybe I was just meant to mention her name, and so you guys can pray for her. But yes, so I'm going to stick with His Perfect Match for now. I do do that. I do that on my phone. That's why I have a note taking app on my phone. So yes, when I am out and about and I do think of something for writing, I will definitely write it down. Like, I won't go and say, "Oh, I'll write it down even in like an hour from now," because I will forget. I've forgotten lots of stuff that way, and I'm like, there was something I was supposed to write like 5 minutes ago and I didn't, and now it's gone. So yes, every time I think of something, I do write it down. So it's always helpful. Thank you, Mother. Thank you. All right, so trying to think when I should start the first sprint, because if you don't know, my dad tends to come home during sprint time. And so I like to have a sprint going while he has dinner and stuff when he gets home. Yes, yes, I knew you meant on vacation. Yes, I tend to use my note-taking app when I think of stuff, because that's always with me. But I also do tend to bring my traveler's notebook with me as well, for journaling, as well as creative ideas, or I try to. Sometimes I forget, but at least I know I'll always have my phone with me, so the note-taking app is there for me. But I don't use my phone very often on vacations, which is good. So I probably should bring a journal with me. All right. Hope you guys had a good day. I ended up being pretty busy today. Like, it was funny. The morning just flew by and I felt like I did nothing. I did some things. I set up like the video chats and stuff, which I did forget. I do need to set up a video chat for our Q&A with the author Rochelle Nelson at the end of this month for our Betty read. So I will be doing that. I might end up doing that I do have that written down now, so I don't have to do it right now. But it is important that I get that done. But I think we're just going to go ahead and start a sprint. And if my dad ends up coming home, I'll just take like a short, quick break, and then we'll go right into another sprint. So we might get 3 reading sprints in, at least two, at least 2. So I'm going to pop on the music, which might take me a few seconds actually, because I did forget to search for the music ahead of time because I always do. And I did not this time. Ooh, let's do that one. I don't know if it's copyrighted or not though. Oh, never mind. It's like 3 hours long. I'm not going to do that to you guys. Okay, let's just stick with our regular video that we do this. We'll do that. Okay. I'm all on schedule. Hopefully I didn't disappear on you because I was trying to use my laptop to find our timer for us today. So unprepared and so late. It's okay. Thankfully, you guys are here to hang out with me and laugh about it. You can laugh about it. I'm laughing about it and crying. Okay. Here's our timer. Yay. Okay. We're all set. All right. Let's go ahead. Have fun for an hour, and I will see you all back, and we'll chat some more later. Hello, Lily Eve. Hi. How's it going? We're just about ready to start a reading sprint, so go and have fun reading, and we'll all be back in about an hour. I'll see you guys soon. you Hey everyone, that's the end of our first sprint. Let me know how you all did and how you're enjoying your books, or what did you do during the sprint. I am so close to finishing the book I'm reading, very, very close. And I actually probably would have finished it during the sprint, but I got distracted. I've been getting distracted all day by videos and other stuff that is distracting me from reading, but I am very, very close to finish reading it. So super excited about that. Let me see where we were in comments, so don't forget to pop those in. But I'm reading, for those of you just popping in, I'm reading His Perfect Match by Andrea Boyd, and I made it to 93%, I think, 94%. And it says I'll finish in about 18 minutes. So I will definitely finish this in the next sprint. So I'll finish this and I will start another book or continue another book after this one's done. So I'm glad I get to finish a book during our sprint. So yay for that. This is actually going to be a pretty short break because my dad did just get home a few minutes ago. So he's going to have to make dinner soon for himself, or warm up something. So I'm going to probably pop on another sprint pretty quickly for our second sprint. Might be able to do 2 more since we're fairly early tonight, but we'll see how everything goes. I know I saw Lily Eve pop in. Hello, Lily. Lily's reading Salem's Fall by Rectuck Ross. Never heard of it. Sounds very fall themed. Celestria says, hey. Hello, Celestria. And Susan's here too. Good evening, Susan, too. She says, Celestria, I just finished watching your latest video. That's awesome. I did add it to my watch later. I have not watched it yet, but it is there for me to watch. And B says she's finally home listening to me in the car, reading 2 books. First one is called House of Splinters. Ooh, it's a 5th book of an author called Laura Purcell. It's a Gothic novel. Sounds interesting and fun. I love a good Gothic story. I need more of those. Maybe I'll check it out for fall reading. And the second book is The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wolben. It's about forests and a book explaining the amazing process of life, death, and regeneration in wood. It's a nature book. Oh, fun. Interesting. And so I know you spelled that wrong because you said you did later on re-say that. You are should be dendrologist. Interesting. I have never heard of that. I'm going to have to look that up. Interesting. Hi, Kat. Kat's organizing her home library for a couple hours. Oh, fun. I need to do that and unhaul because I just have way too many books. They're double stacked and then plus some. So I really need to get going on that and try my best to unhaul some. It's so hard now, especially since like most of the books I have on my shelves are actually like read books and not unread books. So like it's really hard for me to get rid of read books just because like I know I've either enjoyed them or they're signed. I'm trying to be better about that too. It's so hard. But I do also need to clean my bookshelves too. B says a treat reading that I will recommend to everyone who loves trees, forests, nature, and it's very informative. Nice. Sorry about that. I will pause for a second. I will be back. It was nobody on the phone. I figured it wasn't, but I wanted to pause it just in case somebody was on the answering machine. But 99.9% of the time, it is nobody. So we don't answer the phone unless we know who you are. And B says, of course, being here tonight. It's midnight in UK and drinking flat white. I've heard that term, but I can't remember what it is. Is it like hot milk or I can't remember what it is, but I have heard that term before. I just can't remember where. So happy being here, Katie. Thank you for what you're doing. You're welcome. I'm so excited to be here too. We can all hang out together. Hello, Ashley. Ashley went out to dinner with her husband. Awesome. I went out with my mom and we shared a salad. And it was really good. We went to one of our favorite places for salads, and because I am trying to eat extremely, extremely healthy to lose quite a bit of weight, because I really want to be just healthier in general. Like not even about losing the weight. I just want to be healthy. Although losing weight would be a side bonus. And Kay's here. Hi, Kay. Joining in late. Not that late. You're never late. It's okay. Reading The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano. I remember who wrote that. I still have not read it. This actually might be a good time to read it, actually, because it does have some kind of Gothic feel to it, I'm pretty sure. So it would be a good time. I think I do have the audiobook on hold, but it could be, I think it's like months before I get it. But I could request my library to get a copy, because I don't think it's at my personal library. B says, hey, Kay, wow, I was thinking of this book a few weeks ago, read the description on Goodreads, and I loved it. It does sound great. Plus, her husband is in some kind of mechanical field, so he helped with all kind of that field, so that's pretty cool. Kelly got lucky with all short chapters for her daily reads right now. Oh, that's awesome. Read a chapter of Gone with the Wind, The Silmarillion, and The Mysterious Benedict Society. Love great short chapters. Those are always helpful, especially when you want to read multiple books at a time. I used to do that, actually. I used to read one chapter from each book. I did that a lot growing up. I don't do that as often anymore, but I used to do that a lot. Hannah read 30 pages. Awesome. Just switched to writing. Well, I'll pray you do a great job writing tonight. Brittany just ate supper. Hello, Brittany. And read Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. Nice, nice. Hi, Krista. Krista is also reading Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. Are you guys buddy reading or something? Or just happen to read the same book at the exact same time? Oh, wait, there's comments. Kay says she's loving her Joanna Davidson Politano book, 3 chapters in. Awesome. Okay, so it was happenstance. Brittany says, Krista, we're reading the same book. That is hilarious. I love when that happens. It's very rare when I'm reading the same book as other people. Mom says, read 2 full chapters on page 25. Yes, she did fall asleep, and I did hear her snoring. I was like, yep, she's asleep in there. Hannah says her book is very classic old Australian storytelling. So it feels super nostalgic to me. So I'm really enjoying it. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I would definitely have to check it out. Krista says, how far are you, Brittany? Krista is 170 pages or so in and really enjoying it. And you're almost at the exact same point. Brittany's at page 182. That's hilarious. You could have been buddy reading, and I would never even know you did. You didn't. Kat says I have more unread books than read books. See, I used to be that way, but I'm getting pretty good at reading a lot of my owned books. So I do have 2 full TBR carts. So if I had the room, it would probably be half and half. Maybe a little bit more read, but not too much. Oh, you wouldn't even want to know me when I was younger. My bookshelves are probably not even 5% read. It was bad. I was a library addict. I would never read my own books. I was gonna guess a coffee after. I was like, it's probably not hot milk. Flat coffee. Okay, flat white. It's a coffee. Very delicious. I thought so. Dendrology is a scientific study of trees. Well, that is exciting. I never knew that about you. That's fun. Hey, she told on herself. It was in her comment. I was going to say, yeah, I was like, Mom says, I told him myself, David. Yes, she did. So my dad's here, probably wanting to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new sprint for you guys. So we'll go ahead and do an hour, and I will all be back in an hour and chat some more. Okay, everyone, that's the end of our next sprint. Let me know how you all did. I think I'm going to go ahead and do another half-hour sprint. So I'll spend a little bit more time and catch up a little bit more on another book that I'm reading. I feel like another half hour I can do. I don't think I can do a whole hour, but at least another half hour with you guys to hang out. So exciting because I finished a book. I'm so excited. I finished a book and I did really enjoy it. His Perfect Match by Andrea Boyd. It is finished and now I can post a review on it. So yay. Super happy about that. And then we'll go ahead and do another half-hour sprint after we're done chatting for a few minutes. But finished it, enjoyed a nice light romance. Now I'm ready for some more heavier books. Some, I don't know, thrillers, mysteries might be a good idea. I'm also reading a Christmas book. So there's that, a new Christmas book coming out for a review because I think it just came out a few days ago. So I'm listening to Julie Clausen's new Christmas book. So Christmas, and I need some thrillers though. I really want some thrillers. I borrowed one from the library. Can't remember what it is, but figured I would go ahead and try it. I think I did. Let me double check. Check on my Libby app, see what I've requested as far as like seasonal reads, because this is the only time of the year where I do seasonal reading. Is during the fall season. Fall season is seasonal reading for me, which includes thrillers, cozy mysteries, also like a few classics here and there, and and fantasy too sometimes. I'm getting Pomona Afton Can Still Solve a Murder, so I'm hoping that one's good. It's up there. I can never post anything, but that one. I also have Frida McFadden's newest book, The Intruder, and one of my libraries had like a huge wait list and the other two really small wait lists. So I have that one. And I've never tried a Frida McFadden book, but I figured why not try with her new one, because people have been saying it's pretty good, I think. So I'm going to probably read that one. I also have Jamie Jo Wright's book, House on Foster Hill, and that's always a good creepy time, but not too creepy. I do have some cozy mysteries, a few set in Scotland, but not too many. And then I have a couple of sci-fi thriller type books. So a few interesting ones. And I also have Phantom of the Opera I need to read. And that's very atmospheric, I feel like. So, I also got some new fantasy I forgot about. But yes, I've got quite a few things I'm wanting to mood read right now. So I do have to get 2 review books done for Monday. But after that, I can slowly get back into mood reading a little bit. I switch back and forth. A few review books, then I mood read, go back and forth to kind of keep my brain on the track of continuing to read, enjoy reading. So for the last sprint of the last 30 minutes, I'm going to be reading Congo Crisis by KrisAnne Dawson. I did get my copy from the other room. I forgot it was a blue cover. I thought the first book was green, but it's blue. So I am more than halfway through this book. I remember I'm on page 117. Really surprised that I actually remember that page number. That's a good question, actually. Have any of you done that growing up? I know I did, where I actually remembered what page I left on. Like I could be in the middle of a chapter, end of a chapter, whatever, but I always remembered where I finished. And I haven't done that in a while, actually. I usually either write it down but yeah, in physical books, I just always seem to usually remember where I stopped. So I think 117 is the end of a chapter, though, if I'm not mistaken, but I do remember, or start of a chapter. So I'm on chapter 12 right now, or I should be. I'll double check my app, but usually I remember, or used to remember, exactly what page I landed on. So this is what I'm reading, Congo Crisis, and I like that it's based off the author's real life experience in the Congo. So really enjoying it so far. And I'm not sure if it also has a little bit of romance in it, because there's this guy who she met on the way there, and he's kind of been like popping in a couple different places. I'm like, it could be your future husband. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So that's what I will be reading. And book 2 and 3 are waiting for me as well, but I probably won't get to those this month, but at least I can get to book 1. Let's see, where was I in the comments? Oh, we were really far up. Okay. David is just responding to my mom. Jamie says, I love the last name of the author of your book, Hannah. It's my maiden name and not super common. And Fashion Aplenty had a lovely shower and continuing to read Catherine of Aragon. Nice. I'm glad you're enjoying that book, although it does seem like a very long book. Hannah says, Jamie, it actually makes for a cool last name. Definitely don't see it often, though. I feel I'm smack dab in the middle of the 1590s now, thanks to my book. On page 312, the book has 502 pages in total. Wow. As I said, that is a big book. Not super big, but like for a classic, that's pretty big. For me anyways, I would struggle with a large classic. Kelly ate dinner, edited a video, and posted it. Nice. Feeling productive. Awesome job. I don't think I have anything I need to edit right now. I should have, but I, again, was distracted this afternoon. So I didn't do much this afternoon like I was supposed to, but that's okay. That's okay. We all have our struggles. Kay said, for that sprint, I ended up 2 chapters of Mysterious Benedict Society while doing my nails. Awesome. Awesome. What did you do your nails? Just a plain color or a pattern or whatever? I'd love to know. I used to do my nails constantly, but then, I don't know, my nails can't really hold nail polish that well. They never did. And also the smell bothers me too. So I can't do it. Sometimes I'll do the stick-on ones, but I don't even do those anymore. But my nails are growing like really quickly. So they do need to be cut down soon because they are getting a little long for typing my book next month. So goodbye, long nails. Yes, listening to two chapters. Yes. You were talking to texting. Yeah, so how is that series, Mysterious Benedict Society? I saw those books all the time when I used to go to the library a lot, and I was like, those look interesting, but I've never read them. I love the covers too. Hannah roughly wrote 500 words. That is amazing. Great job. Mom read a total of 4 chapters so far. Awesome. Kat organized bookshelves for half of that sprint. Awesome. Great job. Great job. And ate dinner with your dad and husband for the other half. Awesome. Yeah, I tend to organize my bookshelves in the middle of summer. I don't know why I choose that. I really don't. It's like it's the hottest time of the year. Like, why? I don't know why. I'll probably end up letting it go until next summer again. Brittany said did not get very far. The former husband and I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't think it's farmer. Farmer? Oh, it could be farmer husband and cousin came in the house and chatted for a bit. I was gonna say former husband, but it could be farmer husband too. Wasn't sure if that was a misspelling or not. Kelly says, loving reading the Mysterious Benedict Society with Kay. Love that. I love buddy reading. If anybody ever wants to buddy read, just let me know. Usually fall's pretty busy, but I would always try to squeeze in something. At least it was an audiobook I can squeeze in reading a buddy read. Brittany says, do Frida McFadden's books have bad language in them? I do not know. But when I read one, I will let you know. I always let you guys know what's in books and stuff. So I will definitely let you know if I do get to it this month. I will definitely let you know in the wrap up. Jamie has several different books going on, so struggling to decide which one to read at the moment. I hate those moments. It's like, yeah, I do too, especially when I have a lot of books I'm reading at the same time. That's why I like sprints, because if I have a plan that I want to color, then I know it's going to be my audiobook. If not, then I usually go for a physical book, usually during sprints. So sprints help me narrow it down. Otherwise it's usually audiobooks when I'm in the living room. Mom says I'm lucky if I can remember what I previously read before continuing the book. Kelly says, I used to remember what page I stopped on, but then I started reading multiple books at one time and discovered the beauty of a bookmark. Yes, bookmarks are helpful. or a clean tissue or something if you have that handy. Kat says, read her first Frida McFadden book in July, read The Housemaid, which was a gift from a friend, really, really liked it. I want to continue reading the rest of that series. Awesome. So I do have the first 2 or 3 books in that series on audio. I got them like in a buy 2 for 1 credit sale on Audible. So that would be another series that I could check out. I'm behind in actually listening to the books that I've gotten on Audible. David said, had to step away looking into adopting a rescue dog. What kind are you thinking about? I wish I could, but I don't think my health would be up to a dog right now. Maybe in the future, and it would probably have to be a small one. You have 2 questions. Okay, lay it on me, B. Kay says, I wear press-ons. I used to do press-ons, but those wouldn't last me 30 seconds. Ugh. These ones are like a pearlescent beige French tip. Ooh, I love that. I love French tip. I used to do French tip all the time. I miss doing my nails. I actually used to be really creative with my nails. I wish I still did it, but I don't have the patience for it anymore. But I did so many different designs. I've even hand painted monarch butterfly wings on my nails, but I haven't done that in a long time. And Benedict Society is so fun, quirky. I'm loving it. Love it. Definitely have to check it out for next middle grade March. Jamie said, I started trying to read Mysterious Benedict Society one time, but DNF'd. I want to try it again. Okay, it wasn't my mind playing tricks on me, and it wasn't a misspelling. Yep, he's a farmer. Okay, awesome. All right, B is asking me, are you planning to invite Jamie Jo Wright again in like a author chat? If we do another buddy read, a buddy read of her books, absolutely. I would love to have her back on my channel. She's amazing and I love her so much. So yes, I would of course be interested in having her back on my channel again. She's amazing, and maybe someday I'll be on her channel, on her podcast. That would be amazing. So when I'm published, she does a lot of authors on her podcast, ones that are debut authors and ones who've been doing it for a while. So I might be a guest on her channel. And second, can you ask what you do for a living? Pretty much this. I've been pretty transparent in my videos about what I do. It's just I have 3 YouTube channels. This one, Bible journaling, and my coloring book channel, which my coloring book channel I don't get paid for yet. Would love to at some point, but I'm not that active on it. I need to work on that. But I live at home with my family, and I'm also working on writing my book. So that's my life for now, YouTube and writing. So hope to be a published author someday soon, and that would be great. Yeah, hopefully soon. I know they're going to be published. I just have no idea if I don't think I'm meant to indie publish, but you never know if I'm meant to do that or not. Dog is a mix and looks very much like a little fox. Don't tell my mom. My mom is going to freak out and want it. Black face, nose with brown forehead and tufted ears. Oh. If you adopt her, you're going to have to send me pictures. Oh, that is so adorable, though. It almost sounds like my friend's dog. My friend has kind of a little dog like that. I wonder if I can find her pictures. Dog's getting bigger, though, actually. I know she sent me recent pictures. She also sent me a video, too, but I'll try to find a picture. It's hard to find a picture on Facebook when you're just scrolling. And maybe I can't find one. Because I'm like, no, she shared a video, but I don't want to share the video, whatever. I guess not. But anyway, so she does have a cute little black and white cute fox. Yeah, all she sent me was pictures of the other ones. I could take a screenshot though. Just so you don't hear the volume or whatever, but they're too rowdy, so you can't really see what they look like because they just got back from a trip. So, oh yeah, she's moving around too much. Oh yeah, she kind of lost the pointy ears, so she no longer looks like a fox. Really, she's moving around too much in the video. But when she was tiny, she had like those cute little fox ears. But how adorable! And yes, Mom came around and said, "Looks like a fox." We actually saw one that almost looked like that. It was black. It was at a pet store. We don't really support pet stores, number one, because they're outrageously expensive, and number two, you don't really know where they come from. But I used to visit them just to hold the dogs, and there was one that had like little up ears, looked kind of like a cross between a kitten and a fox from the back, and it smelled like powder or something, like, I don't know, but I'm like, this wasn't like a normal dog smell. I'm like, why does this dog smell so pretty? Like, dogs don't normally have this smell. Like, it almost smelled like a hyperallergenic dog or something. I don't know, but it was a nice smelling dog. I was like, if we had money, but I'd rather rescue anyways. We've always rescued all of our animals since we had animals. Haven't had an animal in the house for 15 years, maybe a little shorter than that. But yeah, so yes, ma'am. And he'll send pics. I'd love to see pictures of the cute dog. All right, so let's go ahead and do one last half-hour sprint for you guys so you can hang out, and then I'll come back and end the sprint. So I'll see you all back in half an hour. Okay, everyone, that's the end of our last sprint this Friday. Let me know how you all did. Did you enjoy your books? Got quite a bit read that sprint, so I'm super happy with what I accomplished tonight, getting caught up in review books. So really happy with that. And yeah, as I said, once I finish these last couple books this weekend, I'm going to take a little break from review books and do a little bit of a mood reading after that. Some fun books for fall, hopefully. But let me know how you all did, how you enjoyed your last sprint before we head off for tonight. I know I saw Sky pop in during that last sprint. Hello, Sky. I'm so sorry that you misunderstood it as Pacific time. I'm here every single Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, so I'm so sorry that you misunderstood. But I'm glad you're here in the last sprint and you got to say hello. So I'm glad you're here for now and got to say hi. I know Fashion Aplenty is gone for the night, so good night. And let's see, B also said good night and thank you for a fabulous night again. Huge pleasure to be with you. Until next time. Yes, until next time. And yes, a nice prolific week. Getting so much done would be great because I have a lot of things to do next week. Like a lot. Hannah said, I made myself a beef brisket sandwich. Oh, I love brisket. Brisket is my favorite, or one of my favorite. Oh, I love beef brisket. And wrote a couple sentences. That's okay. Meals are important. For sure. I also lost 5 pounds in the past week, so I'm super happy about that. See if I can keep it going. Mom didn't read this last sprint, was forced to fold clothes. Forced to fold clothes. I was going to say there's probably some of my clothes in there too. But that's okay. I'll bring them upstairs later. But thank you for folding, Mom, if you folded my stuff. But yeah, so I was reading Congo Crisis by Chrisanne Dawson, and I ended up reading 30 pages. Let me double check. I wrote it down somewhere. 31 pages of this book, and I am only 60 pages away. So I will be finishing this on Sunday. Sorry about the noise. The video popped up on my phone. But I will be finishing this on Sunday so I can talk about it in my end of the month wrap up. So it is a little bit heartbreaking too. But I am enjoying it. So 60 pages left. I will finish that on Sunday. Probably not tonight because I'm a little tired. Yes, brisket. It's the one thing I order when we go get barbecue. The one thing I order is brisket. I don't care what anybody else orders. I'm getting like 2 orders of brisket. That's it. I know it's usually more expensive, but it tastes so good, and that's the only time I get it is during going out for barbecue. All right, so I'm going to say a quick prayer for us before we head off for the weekend. So bless our week, and yeah, so dear Lord, thank you for us just having a great time tonight, reading books, spending time together, Lord. I pray for those who aren't feeling well tonight, Lord God. I pray for our friend, Creatively Faithful, Lord God. I pray for her, Lord, and I just pray, Lord God, that you will give her peace and comfort, Lord God. And I just pray that you will be with her, Lord God. And I pray that each and every one of you will have a blessed night and a blessed weekend, guys. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, blessed night. I am going to head off and get ready for bed soon because I might have an early night tonight. But hope y'all have a blessed night. Good night, everyone. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you all